Hello, this is Joseph, and this is going to be my submission for the week 4 assignment. And before we get to the play, I just want to get over this. I implemented a weapon switching system, so you can switch from a cannon to a pistol, and a cannon is just a circular prefab or circular projectile. It is does more damage, and yeah, you can see here in this projectile script we have pistol damage and cannon damage. And a pistol will be the square or the cube looking thing. And there's a weapon swap, and I'm using WASD and some other buttons to swap, and I'm using the mouse buttons and spacebar to swap for the other one. So I'm just gonna play, and also have this power up right here. But we're just gonna go play. So right now I'm pressing WASD. We can turn the character. This is my tank controls character. And I'm gonna press E, and that's gonna be my shoot button. And right now we're shooting like tiny little balls. And then, oh yeah, I mixed up pistol and cannon sizes, but you can still tell the difference. I'm gonna swap my ammo. I'm pressing F and then swap, uh, F and then swap. There you go. And you can see it shoots a different type of ammo. And so with these power ups right here, these are like max ammos. So it's kind of hard to move because I can't see where I'm going. But I picked this up, and now that when I shoot their squares, I get more ammo, right? So I can come back in your inspector and check more closely. We can see here, uh, I'm doing a weapon swap. I went to pistol, and every time I shoot, it goes back down. And then if I go to the max ammo with no ammo, we get the ammo, the power up disappears. And the same thing still applies to the other character as well. So here, here, I'm shooting. This one doesn't have a turn thing. I'm just shooting. Oh yeah, this. Oh yeah, I want to get that one last, but I'm gonna do a weapon swap, so you just ignore this right now. Weapon swap. So now we're on pistol. Pick up the max ammo, and I keep clicking on the scene view. And we're back to switching to this, and I can swap to that. So that's the basics of it. And what you saw that rectangle was, I'm gonna restart this and play it. But that rectangle is a beam attack. So think like Goku's Kamehameha from Dragon Ball. And if you press R, it spawns a ki blast that basically persists for 5 seconds, and then it does a lot of damage. And since it's like non-collision, it basically insta kills, basically, right? And it stays on for a bit, but in just like in 5 seconds it disappears. And this one isn't restricted by ammo, but that's what's supposed to be my unique game mechanic. So let's look into the script and see more. So here's my player controller, and I have these enums just to like control the types. And this is just some basic uh, movement stuff. We have a health variable. We have a weapon. This is for the weapon script or component. And you can see here we get the component. And we separate our movements just with the if statement like this. So it's tank movement and strafe movement. You can see you can shoot. So like we just organize it like this. So we have a movement strafe and a movement tank. So that just handles all the movement. But everything else I just put into these separate keybinds. And if it's E, it just shoots. If it's click down left, shoots, and uses the same shoot function. It just changes functionality depending on what strafe type it is, or what weapon type it is, which is the weapon part. And each has a key blast, and right here is just the weapon swap. Here we have our deal damage. So I forgot to mention, like, this also, the weapon damage also applies to the weapons themselves. So I'm gonna go here. We're gonna put our view to over here. We see our health, and I can shoot like that, and it insta kills. Since it was already at 0, and it's just basically one shot from there. So that projectile killed him. But we can go back here. Just basic movement stuff for strafing. Same thing here. I went over this last week, so I'm not going to really go over it this way today. And this is our weapon script, which is referred to over here. So this is our weapon, and we track what type of weapon it is, the amount of ammo. We just have the ammo max and ammo just for when we want to switch it out. And I just defaulted on cannon because I don't want to have like a case where it's like not assigned to anything. Fire force, that's from the lecture, just like, you know, how hard it's going to shoot. I could have changed that for each different type, but I chose not to. And these are the different prefabs. And I included the beam prefab as part of the weapon, but it's basically more like an ability rather than a weapon, I guess. That's the way I'm thinking of it, since I'm not swapping towards a weapon. And this is the fire position. This is for these two right here, the cannon and pistol. So I probably should move it up there, but it's fine. These are just empty. And this is our shoot function, which is called from player controller. And see here, this if statement make sure we actually have ammo before we even fire. And we have just these if statements for the cannons and stuff. And all it does, the only difference between them is that this one initiates a prefab or cannon prefab. This one's a pistol prefab, and it makes sure it turns the ammo, the projectile into that type. And that's pretty much it. And then the key blast, I have like a debug, just like Kamehameha, and instantiates a beam instead. So we can go to our projectile and see how we differentiate it. So here, I feel like this is redundant because I already tracked it right here, like the weapon type, but I couldn't figure a way to like uh bring that over to here basically. So I just like, okay, I'm just gonna do this. I mean, I could have just done this, but I meant I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but we just have another set of enums. It's the same exact enums. That's what we're trying to say. But anyways, mumbling aside, we have pistol damage and cannon damage. These are, you can change them into the scene view, and they have a time to destroy, so they're not on the screen all the time. And here is just the timer. So I just set this timer to 0, and since the projectile is immediately destroyed upon instantiation, I just add it with the time delta. I don't have to track too much, and then just destroy it after. I don't know why I put timer 0. It doesn't even matter here. But anyways, so on collision enter, so I use the physics-based way of doing it instead of a raycast. And so it's just every time it collides, I make sure the player mask is the one that matters. And if it does that, it deals damage for each one with the pistol damage or cannon damage. And then if it hits the ground or something, hits a wall, hits anything but a player, it'll destroy. So that's the basics of it, and we're gonna get over the power up. The power up is just a simple trigger. So instead of actually I think it's the same method, but this is just a trigger. And if you just touch it, your weapon gets refilled. It gets the weapon of the object that touched the power up, refills it to the given ammo max. It gives a max ammo debug, and then it just destroys it. So basically a power up, right? Similar to like Call of Duty Zombies. Here in our beam function, so this is called with our beam, and this is attached to the beam prefab, but this one's also set on a timer. We can change this here in a prefab or here. Actually, we can't change it in the prefab actually because it's not public, but we can just change it here, and we just have it for 5 seconds. And oh yeah, this one's the trigger. This one's the trigger. So since we don't want the the beam to like collide into it, I don't want it to like have a collision because it's gonna be like sort of like a beam of light. I don't really want it to collide, so I made it a trigger so it just goes through objects, but it still lets me get the info on whether it's interacting with another thing, right? So we're just gonna get a layer mask of player, and then deal damage, and we do a big 50 damage instead. But beyond that, that's pretty much it for this program. Yeah, you can see these are the prefabs. This is just the beam. It's just the rectangle. circle for the cannon, square for the pistol, the player prefab, and the power-ups also a cube. But that's pretty much it.